Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program and the Interplanetary Chase. In the previous episodes we designed a probe deployer and deployed our communications network around Kerbin. Whilst doing so we did manage to perform a few experiments, and as such we need to have a look at what we can spend our science points on. Now I'm thinking about building a space station, or not necessarily a space station so to speak, but more so an orbital laboratory so to speak. And in order to do that we need the mobile processing units. As you can see here, it's a 2.5 meter part if I remember correctly. It's quite big, so we'll need to build a pretty chunky rocket. However, I think it's fair to say that given we managed to get a Kerbal to the moon, we are able to achieve that. Now, we've researched that, which leaves us 44.2 science points. We don't exactly have very much. However, now that we have a mobile processing unit, we're going to have a look at possibly trialling how well a orbital lab will go, given our current tech level. Now, as you can see, we've taken our classic service bay, put a pod on top, along with our kind of classic setup of a battery and a reaction wheel. Parachute on there as well. We need to reroute the parts, obviously the whole vessel can be moved around from the command pod as per. Now obviously, like I say, as you can see, it's a big part. We don't have the fuel adapters, however we do have the structural rocket max adapter which we're going to use. We're going to put a few solar panels on here as well. I don't know if they'll be enough, but that's why we're doing this, to obviously test how feasible this may or may not be. Given that it's a heavy part, we want to make sure that it faces the right way during atmospheric re-entry, so we are going to put some winglets at the top there. It may cause some instability during our ascent, but looking past that, they should actually help us out quite a lot. Now, to cover up the bottom of this all, checking to see if any fairings, which we unfortunately do not. So from here, just going to attach an engine to this. This will be our kind of manoeuvring stage, orbital correction stage. Given our current tech level, that is all we're able to do as it stands. Now, looking for a nice fuel tank to use for our ascent stage. We decided to use 2 of them, followed by possibly an engine plate or a big engine here. So yeah, we're doing what we did previously with the engine plates, quad attachment nodes, 4 engines, and clip them in slightly so it looks like they're supposed to be there. Wonderful stuff. Now, drone shoots are quite important given how heavy this thing is, although I have a feeling that 2 may not be enough, so we might have to come back round later and modify that. Now, we're also going to put some solid rocket boosters because our thrust to weight isn't exactly stellar. It is enough, however, I want to kind of get up into space reasonably fast, so got the SRBs all there. Going to put some fins to assist with stability during our ascent here. And obviously some Separatrons because we've had one too many close calls with the coupling boosters for my own liking here. That's another thing we researched recently. We also have some new hires, being Kerbal McKerbal-Face and Elbert T. Finkelbottom. Kerbal McKerbal-Face has proven himself with experience through the Reliance Robin shuttle, about 50 hours of flight time if I remember correctly, whereas Finkelbottom himself is one of the pioneers of the Spoon, and we needed to headhunt him as a scientist there. Now, as you can see, we have gone back to the editor before launching here, putting some more parachutes on, including some more drag chutes and some more actual parachutes, because once again I forgot how quite heavy the mobile processing unit was. We're also going to add some batteries just so we have some power reserves to fall back on worst case scenario. And here we are, ready to launch. Footage has been sped up quite a lot because I've done this many times before now, so there's no need for you to kind of see the whole thing. To couple the SRBs. Wonderful. As we punch our way through the lower layers of Kerbin's atmosphere. Thickest part. All our Kerbals looking very happy in the bottom there. Oh yeah, we've also bought Lido, our resident engineer if I remember correctly. As our apoapsis is now above Kerbin's atmosphere. I'm not too concerned about this thing's orbital altitudes. As long as we do manage to get it into a Kerbin orbit, that's the most important thing. And going to try and finish off our circularization here. That stage is about to run out of fuel, and we'll fire that away and continue our burn using our upper stage here, our manoeuvring stage for the orbital laboratory itself. Now, apoapsis is about 80 kilometers, periapsis is positive, and here we are now in a Kerbin orbit. So we're going to shut that engine off, and obviously we've got our service bay along with our material study, our science junior, and we're going to process these experiments in the lab. Or at least theoretically we're going to. Once again, this is just a test. I don't intend on keeping this thing in orbit. This is just to see if we have the resource to do so. And we start research there. And as you can see in the top right there, it appears that our electric charge is unfortunately plummeting. Given our current tech levels, I think it's safe to say that without some better solar panels or some better means of energy generation, we are not yet able to realistically put an orbital laboratory into orbit here. So we're going to clean the experiments here. This is just me experimenting with our own parts to see what we can and can't do. And if I've taken something away from this correctly, I think that cleaning out an experiment allows you to reuse it without a scientist. I might be wrong, you might need a scientist to actually use that functionality, but regardless, we're going to burn retrogrades, deorbit ourselves, and see if we can get our 3 Kerbals back home safely. Now, rocket stage is out of fuel here, so now it's just a matter of pointing the heat shield retrogrades and hoping for the best. And this is exactly where those fins on our command pod here come into use, because if this thing is about to flip out of control, those fins will hopefully catch some air and either correct us or prevent us from pointing the wrong way, as we start getting a little bit toasty in the atmosphere. Get a few pictures, a few little screenshots. Not sure what the camera's doing there, but regardless, we are continuing our descent. And as you can see, we've turned off SAS. It looks like it wants to flip, however those fins are preventing us from doing so. Heat shield is still taking the brunt of the heat, which is good. There is an EVA report we could do, but we're not going to. We're going to pop those drogue chutes just to ensure that we slow down enough. And now we have done, we can pop the actual parachutes. Once again, we need this many because the mobile processing unit is extremely heavy. And a nice little thing, owing to BlackRack's BlackRack's visual enhancements and obviously volumetric clouds, we get a nice little thunderstorm, a lightning storm as we descend through the cloud layer. As we admire the visuals that this wonderful mod brings. Once again, BlackRack, if you happen to be watching this, thank you so much. This is an absolute game changer for this this wonderful game here. Anyway, enough cheesing around. As you can see, the God rays going through the clouds. 500 meters above ground level. And to continue our descent, our Kerbals are looking rather content. And as we're parachuting, we do decide to do an EVA report. Because ultimately, if we do fall, then our Kerbals are equipped with parachutes, which they'd be able to land with. So not all is lost. 100 meters. Finish off that time warp and touchdown. And we do have a few available experiments to do while we're here. Now this is quite funny. Remember a few episodes ago where we tried to go to the highlands? That didn't work, but guess where we are now? All of our experiments are from Kerbin's highlands, meaning that's another biome conquered given our current science experiments. And we're going to recover this vessel. Wonderful stuff as we earn a little bit more science, taking us up towards the 80-ish mark, 79 to be exact, but whatever science we can take away from this, we can't complain. And it looks like our Kerbals have a few ribbons as they're ready for the next assignment. So, Kerbal McKerbal Face has achieved some ribbons. Research 1, landing on Kerbin. Mach 2 ribbon, G-Force 4 ribbon, and Kerbin Orbits ribbon. Finkelbottom has also got some. Research 1, Kerbin Surface EVA, Mach 2 ribbon, G-Force 4 ribbon, and Kerbin Orbit ribbon. Lido has got a few. Research 3 ribbon, Dangerous EVA ribbon, Mach 2 ribbon, and Kerbin Orbits ribbon. Very nice. Anyway, there's a little bit of debris which we're going to recover. Now, solar panels. We need to get some more science in order to go and research some solar panels and some high power electronics. We've already been to the moon. I don't think there's much left for us to do at Kerbin. However, up until this point, we seem to have forgotten about the fact that Kerbin has another lunar body, being the very minty and nice and friendly green Minmus. So what we're going to do is we're going to modify our pre-existing moonlander to not necessarily land on Minmus, but more so to give Minmus a quick flyby, hopefully from an elliptical orbit, so we can get some data both from high altitudes and low altitudes above the Minmus surface. Where we have separatrons, we can finally bring those boosters in a little bit, make them a little bit more efficient, and we're going to have Finkelbottom fly this mission as our new resident scientist. Hopefully he can reset a few experiments should we need to, and all should be well. So once again, ascending up through Kerbin's atmosphere. This footage is very much accelerated because again you've seen this many times before now, so there's no point you seeing it all the way through. Now, please excuse the ascent profile. I'm aware it's not the most efficient, however that's kind of the point of me putting such a big booster on here. I suppose it's really in the Kerbal nature to engineer these kind of, or better yet, over-engineer these these particular things. Now, pushing through the upper atmosphere, our apoapsis is very much in space, so we're going to coast up to that, and I think ultimately we are going to burn what's left of our booster before we reach our apoapsis, because there's no harm in doing so, and it will help us increase our orbital velocity, won't it? So, here we go, apoapsis, 100 kilometers roughly, out of fuel, so we'll get rid of that stage and that should crash back down onto Kerbin. Now, transfer stage, circularizing with this, ever so slowly pulling up our periapsis, currently in negatives, negative 200 kilometers, 150 now, shouldn't take too long, mind you. Now in the positives, we are now in Kerbin orbit, albeit slightly elliptical, so we're just going to correct that. 103 by 102, that's as good as we're going to get, I think. It doesn't have to be perfect, because this is just to give us some time to set up a Minmus transfer. Now, when it comes to moon transfers, it's quite easy. You just kind of start burning when you see the moon come up from your horizon, whereas Minmus, I'm not overly familiar with, so I'm just using some good old experience from other interplanetary transfers and eyeballing it. Again, not the most efficient, however, it's in the Kerbal nature to over-engineer rockets, and as such, I think we'll have more than enough delta V to pull this off, as you can see. So now we're just commencing our transfer burn to Minmus here. Finkelbottom looking a little bit nervous, but than I would be if I was travelling to an intergalactic mint. So, orbital velocity is increasing. Our apoapsis has been pushing out. Accidentally get a moon encounter there, however we push past it. Our manoeuvre isn't quite where we need it to be, however we do manage to get a encounter, which is good. We get a bit of an EVA report done as our science alert tells us that we are able to extract some science. Approaching our Minmus apoapsis, and we're going to set up a manoeuvre for a retrograde burn in order to circularize around Minmus here. Now, I'm not 100% sure on what constitutes being low altitude versus high altitude above Minmus. So, spoiler alert, this will take a few passes, but we will make it work, so don't you guys worry as we approach our circularization manoeuvre now. And we do get a few experiments to do high above Minmus, so we'll absolutely do all those and store those, hence why the time warp stopped. And we're going to get Finkelbottom to reset our materials observation bay, which is good. That's something a scientist can do, hence why I wanted to bring him on this particular mission. We needed 2 loads of data, 1 high, 1 low, so that's all good. And it goes without saying that we have plenty of mystery goos and temperature sensors, barometers, all that good stuff. And as you can see, we are slowly pushing our periapsis down in the bottom left corner there. I tend to not use map view very much unless I am creating manoeuvres. But then again, that's what playing since version 0.19 does to you, I suppose. So, and we didn't get any experiments there, so we're going to come around for a second pass just to double check that we didn't time warp past them, and we did not. So what we need to do, as we approach our apoapsis, is we need to push our periapsis down a little bit more. I'd say roughly 10 kilometers above the surface should constitute as low, but obviously there's only one way to find out as we approach a little bit more carefully this time. And we do have a little bit of a graphical bug going on here, however that doesn't stop us from collecting all the wonderful science from our experiments here. And from now, it's obviously just a matter of going back to Kerbin. However, that's easier said than done, as we're a lot further away than the Mun. So going to try and correct our inclination, and then assist with that through the retrograde burn. We do have an EVA report to do, however we're going to point to our manoeuvre node first, collect all of our experiments in the module, do another EVA report, there we go, and time warp towards our manoeuvre nodes, as you can see. Looking good so far, as we complete that burn to get a nice little Minmus ejection. We're now in an extremely high orbit around Kerbin, so from here it's just a matter of bringing our periapsis down into the atmosphere. My hope is I don't want to crash straight into Kerbin. I kind of want to aerobrake in the atmosphere using our heat shields and arrest our orbital velocity that way. Now we do a little bit of a quick save, which seems to fix the graphical bug, which is good. And nothing goes wrong, I can tell you that much, so all is well as we start this burn. And bring our periapsis down to roughly 40 kilometers in the atmosphere. That puts us about halfway. That should be okay. I was a little bit concerned that we'd end up with a moon encounter on the way down. However, that isn't a problem. Where we have completely over-engineered this particular rocket for this mission, we do decide to shut off the transfer stage, which we still have, and decouple that from the rest of the rocket. Now, our orbital speed is very, very high. As you can see, we are now in the atmosphere. Landing gear is getting a bit hot, so we do decide to get rid of that stage as well, and ultimately just use the heat shield for its intended purpose. Having said that, it is getting a little bit toasty, which is a little bit concerning given that its sole purpose is to, you know, act as a heat shield. However, it's not getting too warm, I don't think, and the ablator seems to be holding. Owing to the little battery and reaction wheel at the top there, holding our parachute to the cupola, we are managing to hold a retrograde trajectory. So we take a nice little screenshot there. This is an amazing view, like I say, with those graphical mods we've installed in the last couple of episodes here. Absolute necessity, I must say. And we do manage to capture ourselves within Kerbin, obviously. Pop our parachute, have a little spin, but by that point it's not very important. As we pop a parachute and coast our way back down to the surface of Kerbin. Heat shield blows up, as does the materials processing unit, but no matter, we've stored those experiments in the cupola. Now, 500 science points gained, taking us up to a nice total of 586, which should be more than enough for us to achieve the solar panels and high power electronics, and Finkelbottom has earned a few ribbons from that mission, being Research 4 ribbon, or is that Research 6? I'm not too sure. Mach 3 ribbon, First Minmus Orbital EVA ribbon, First Minmus Orbit ribbon, very good, First Minmus EVA ribbon, yep, Dangerous EVA ribbon, yep, Kerbin EVA ribbon, very good, Kerbin Orbital EVA, and 20% SRB ribbon. Very good. Right, so, congratulations Finkelbottom, you're the first Kerbal to end up in a flyby around Minmus. Now, more importantly, advanced electronics and high power electronics. We can afford both. I'm looking at the solar panels to see roughly what their output is, because the mobile processing unit uses roughly 5 units of electricity per second. However, we do want some nice big panels for the sake of redundancy. We could go down regular electronics and get some relay antennas. However, I am a big fan of these photovoltaic panels, along with the gigantors, which we get with this particular node in the bottom left, as you can see in the available parts. There we go. Gigantor array. I was thinking miniaturization as well for some smaller decouplers, along with some advanced flight control for some RCS blocks and different re-entry models, and obviously the SAS module. So I think that's a bit of a necessity, so we're actually going to get that. And we've got the solar panels, as you can see. Currently debating high power electrics, which we can afford. There's also actuators for some docking ports. Well, not docking ports, sorry, actuators give us some clampertrons should we need to redirect any asteroids. Field science, some more miniaturized parts, scanning technology for some more experiments, unmanned tech for some probes perhaps. Now it's at this point I'm looking for docking ports, whether they be big or small. We kind of need those for an orbital laboratory either way. So we search for docking ports, and obviously actuators thinks that those grabbers are docking ports. So it looks like specialised construction gives us docking ports along with radial attachment points, and a new fairing, which is nice, along with some grip pads, some bicouplers, some engine plates. So we'll absolutely be grabbing that. As we also have a look at specialised control, some Werner engines, monoprop tanks, fly-by-wire hubs. Not really what we're after at the moment. So specialised construction, thank you very much. Miniaturisation for the Clampertron Junior. We'll be taking that as well. Obviously, we couldn't get the high power electronics, however, we have focused on necessities. We currently have 86 science points. And on that note, I would like to say thank you very much for tuning into today's episodes. If you did enjoy today's episode, please do like and subscribe for more content like this. If you want me to add a Kerbal, please add a profession and your name in the comments. I will try my best to oblige. Fly safe, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye!